Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the Sony X900H 85-inch monster of a TV, which in our opinion is one of the best deals going right now for a massive, beautiful TV under $2,000. Let's get into it right after the intro. When I first purchased my Vizio 70-inch TV back in 2015, it seemed huge, and I was really happy with the overall performance, but after about 6 months I realized I had grown accustomed to the size, and it just didn't seem to be big enough anymore to really get immersed in a movie. That's when I realized I was just going to have to get a bigger TV. But it would have to wait until larger TVs became more affordable. So I made sure to keep up on new technologies, and I kept an eye out for a TV that has a great price to size and performance ratio. Well, needless to say, it was a long wait. In fact, it wasn't until Black Friday when I saw this Sony at Costco for $1,969 that I really felt like TVs had hit that golden ratio. I've bought my last 4 TVs from Costco because honestly I feel they can't be beat when it comes to their extended warranties and return policy they offer. And many times they also have a better price. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I decided to buy the Sony TV with 7 years of warranty and the ability to try it out for 3 months, and if I don't like it, I can return it. So, as I mentioned, I paid $1,969 for the TV and $100 for the extended warranty. One more thing I should mention is the TVs sold at Costco have a slightly different model number than the ones sold at stores like Best Buy. For example, this TV's model number is X90CH compared to the regular X900H model. But it's been confirmed by many online reviewers that these two models are exactly the same. Looking at the TV, I really like the design. With its thin bezels wrapped in this aluminum trim, it has a very appealing appearance. This also blends really well with the heavy-duty streamlined metal feet that snap into place without the need for screws.
Got it? Okay. Well, that's easy. Yeah.
The panel itself has a semi-gloss finish that does an okay job with reflections. But if you have a room with a lot of windows, it may be a bit distracting. Here's a shot of the TV in our living room to give you an idea of just how that looks. Moving around to the back of the TV, we have the I/O connections, starting with 2 USB ports, 1 optical audio out, 1 3.5mm analog headphone output, 1 composite input, 4 HDMI inputs, and it's worth noting here that inputs 3 and 4 support HDMI 2.1, and HDMI 3 is also the eARC port. Below that, you have an Ethernet port, an RS-232C, and an IR remote input. And finally, a cable TV and over-the-air input that is ATSC 3.0 compatible. The build quality of this TV is excellent. It feels well built and sturdy, the metal feet are very heavy duty, and they do a good job supporting the TV without much wobble. Alright, now for the question I'm sure you've all been waiting for. How does the picture look? Well, I'm going to say right up front that the picture quality on this TV is just excellent. In fact, Sony's done a great job with the factory settings, and I have to say it has some of the best colors out of the box of any TV I've ever owned. And that, in my opinion, is one of this TV's strong points. The color is very natural, and even when you crank it up, it still looks real to life. So much so that most people would be completely happy with this set without having to get a professional color calibration. Now, of course, a calibration will always make a TV look its best. But we just don't think it's necessary here, unless you're a total videophile and you're looking for that perfect picture. Although I was very impressed with the colors on this TV straight out of the box, I still made my own custom picture settings just to tweak everything a little bit to my liking. And if you want to check out the settings I used, I'll leave them down in the description. This TV also has excellent color gradients. This means the TV is really good at capturing color details, which is essentially important when viewing HDR content, and to a lesser degree SDR content. Color gamut is also very good on this TV, with excellent coverage of the DCI P3 color space used in HDR content, Something else that has a big effect on how well a TV displays good HDR content is peak brightness. And this TV, although not the brightest out there, does a really good job with most of the HDR content we've watched. With that said, HDR content does look slightly better in a darker room, but would still be just fine in a bright room. With that said, the colors won't pop quite as much. SDR content on this TV is excellent. In fact, it's so good I sometimes found it hard to discern between SDR content and HDR content. SDR peak brightness is high enough to watch TV in the brightest of rooms without the picture washing out. This TV also has an excellent native contrast ratio, coming in at around 4,500 to 1 and goes up to about 4,800 to 1 when you add in the TV's very good local dimming. Speaking of local dimming, this TV has a full array of 32 local dimming zones. This might not sound like a lot, but Sony puts an emphasis on image processing rather than the number of dimming zones. And this approach seems to work really well thanks to the excellent X1 4K image processor that Sony uses in this TV. Black levels on this TV when watching regular TV shows and movies are really good. If we had to knock this TV for one thing though, it would have to be for the noticeable blooming when you have a small white object on a completely black background. But again, this level of blooming is only noticeable in rare occasions. Of course, these black levels aren't OLED quality, but if you're in the market for an 85-inch TV, there really isn't a much better option on the market right now at this price point. In fact, there aren't any manufacturers that make an 85-inch OLED TV. The closest you can get right now is the LG CX77 OLED, which sells for around $3,500 at the time of this recording. But Sony did just announce that they're going to be coming out with an 83-inch OLED TV this year, so that's something to consider. Gaming on this TV is also great, considering that it has the new HDMI 2.1 compatible ports for next-gen consoles, a high refresh rate of up to 120 Hz, and low input lag, even at 4K with 10-bit HDR in game mode. We're hoping to get a PlayStation 5 to test out these features in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Something else that's also important for gaming as well as watching fast-paced sports is the pixel response time of the panel. The X900H has a great response time, which results in very little ghosting or motion blur in quick-moving scenes. The X900H comes equipped with 4 speakers, 2 located on the bottom, and the other 2 near the top edge of the TV firing outward. And although we thought the speakers sounded better than most flat panel TVs, we'd still recommend getting at least a sound bar, because the speakers are still a bit inadequate in our opinion. The X900 is also a full-on smart TV that comes loaded with Android TV. Being that we're Roku lovers, we weren't sure that we would like using this interface here in our living room, but at the end of the day I enjoyed using it just as much as the Roku. Another great feature of Android TV is the ability to use Google Play Store and have access to tons of apps, games, and utilities. It also comes with a built-in Google Chromecast support. The TV also comes with a decent remote, and although extremely long and not very ergonomic, it does have some really useful features. It's both an infrared and Bluetooth remote, so you don't have to aim it at the TV to use it, and you also get dedicated buttons for things like Netflix, Google Play Store, and even Google Assistant, so you can give the TV voice commands using the microphone built right into the remote. What's the weather in New York?
Currently in New York City, it's 32 degrees and clear. Tonight, the forecast is around 30 and clear. Due to current wind conditions, it feels like it's 25.
And it's also worth mentioning that this TV does have Logitech Harmony support, so you can control it with the rest of your entertainment setup with a single remote, like we have here with our Harmony Elite and companion remotes. So in the end, I'm really glad that I bought this 85-inch Sony X900 TV. At such a great price for a big display, I honestly didn't expect to be this happy with my purchase. In fact, I struggled a bit before I bought this TV because I know newer and better technologies are always coming out, and more than likely they'll make this TV obsolete sometime in the future. But I figured if I didn't go out and buy a TV at some point, I'd end up chasing technology forever, instead of just buying a TV and being happy with it. I've really been enjoying this TV over the last month, and so far I haven't had any regrets. It has beautiful picture quality, an easy to use interface, and loads of next-gen features. For under $2,000, that's pretty hard to beat. So if you're in the market for a great TV with a huge screen, I would put the Sony X900 at the top of your list. And on that note, it's time to wrap up this video. We thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if you have any questions about the X900 down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our future content. And as always, have an awesome day.